Jennie, thank you for requesting a Kelly's Osho Zen reading, especially since I am gradually letting these go. So, yay! And thank you for your patience. As I explained, I was not in alignment yesterday. I was not feeling uh, connected to source. I was not feeling warm, fuzzy love, gratitude, life is wonderful. I was raging. And when I'm in that state, I try to do nothing. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to text. I don't want to talk. I don't want to transmit that energy that I'm trying to release. So, as you know, I found a delightful, happy, healthy, and healing way to deal with real rage, man. My disgust for this country. I've reached my patience level, which is why I'm trying to get the fuck out of here. So I will go by land, sea, or air. I don't discriminate. As a matter of fact, that's how I met my little Chicagoan 30-year-old personal trainer yesterday, who, just so you know how amusing this experience was, he thought David Bowie was one of the Eagles. So, anyways, it was ridiculous, but very therapeutic. Okay, so let's see what's showing up for you. And keep in mind, this reading is just valid for the next 2 weeks. So the current theme, mind, right? Right. It's what's happening for everyone is people's fears and prejudices and judgments and all that conditioning. And, please be compassionate for the quote unquote well educated, the people with multiple PhDs and MDs and ABCs and whatever other little letters they put behind their names and call them credentials. Those people have more programming and conditioning than anyone else. Isn't that ironic? But anyways, just know that people are losing their minds. That's not obvious. And I actually think this is a gift in the Zenist way. So let's see what's going on in your mind. This is your yen card. Oh, yay! Return to the innocence! By the way, that's a great song by Enigma. So whenever this card shows up, I tell people their homework is go listen to that song. Maybe sing with it, dance with it, have fun, masturbate with it, whatever you would. That's a powerful manifestation tool. I call it manifestation. Anyways, this is about returning to the innocence. That's getting back to that. But people have gotten way too serious. We need to lighten this up, folks. I can't, it just, every day people will say something. I'll be like, what's going to happen? Am I going to die? And I'm like, because we're all going to die. Or at least that's what they say. I mean, who knows? But anyways, innocence is going, that's what they mean by the inner child. Thinking and playful and being open to what life presents for you. So anyways, that is what we're trying to get to that place where everything is wonderful and exciting and everything is new. And it is impossible to do that when this is going on. So anyways, next is your yang, what you're projecting out. So it'll be reflected back towards you, also known as the law of attraction. Creativity, yay, yay, yay. In the seeds of chaos, that's where creativity comes. So this says the more ideas you put out there, and even better, in action to go with them. I mean, that's how things really manifest. Even if it's just a kinesiological type motion, because the brain does not know. I'm going into neuroscience all of a sudden, but the brain does not know the difference between reality and illusion and dreaming and all of those things, which is a very interesting topic on its own, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But this is like, share your ideas, because that will help them, talk about, instead of talking about what's not working in the world, because we already fucking know that, people. It's obvious. None of our systems are working well. I mean, really. I'm talking sewage systems. Do you know I love all these hippies who are like, "Oh, I compost and I compost and I do this with my batteries and then I go, "But where does that go?" Like once you hand that over, once you put that in the recycle bin, where does it go? And guess what? None of those motherfuckers know. So, whatever. I'm just saying on every level, education. Um, but don't get me started. So instead of focusing on what's not working, let's focus on solutions. And guess what? Our solutions have to be something different. And that means creative. That is the whole definition of creation, creativity, imagination. The whole point humans have an imagination is to create. Imagination is the first step into creation. And look at our state of education and our education systems. We lock down that imagination. Guess when people are imagining? It's when they're daydreaming. When kids are daydreaming, when kids are like, staring out the car window or they're doing that, don't fuck with them. Don't interrupt that. They're meditating, they're visualizing. And because they're coming from a place from innocence, they're going to create something beautiful. Okay? So anyways, I just had to say that. Free the children. Anyways, creativity is needed. Creative solutions. When people start bitching and complaining and telling me, oh, this system, the judicial system or what, this isn't working, I'm like, okay, we already know that. Thank you. We don't need people going, this isn't working. Shut the fuck up and do something about it. Okay, pick something. There's a million causes. What are you passionate about? And do something. And it all starts with creativity. So get that out there. Anyways, a lot of energy behind that. Okay. Oh, yay. You're going to love this card. This is your to-do. This is your homework, Jenny. This is for you and everyone you know. Celebration. Have fun. Have fun. Whatever that looks like to you. Painting, reading, massaging, singing, water fights, playing while you're shopping, whatever way. That's behind the whole, I've been calling it the get goofy movement, like get goofy. That's why, it wakes people up. Your joy is contagious, just like negativity is contagious. And also when you're doing things in a celebratory manner, you're raising your vibration, you're raising the vibration of everything around you, including the people, without even doing what you love. So celebrate, have fun. That is your homework. Okay, next is your work and home card. Schizophrenia. This is not clinical schizophrenia. And just so you know, I've been talking to a lot of mental health workers and talking about do we really know the difference between some of these mental illnesses and people who have other abilities that we haven't been able to define or quantify yet? Psychic abilities and whatnot. I think now in the physics of consciousness, these things are coming together. But I'm also asking people to stop labeling fucking mental illnesses because we really don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Don't people get that yet? They really don't. So anyways, that was just a little side note. But schizophrenia is basically being split, and it's usually the split between what the heart wants and what the mind wants. The heart wants something and the mind is like, oh, you don't have enough money, or you don't have enough education, or you don't, whatever the bullshit self-defecating self-talk that's been conditioned into us since birth is showing up to block that, which is your ego system, which is not bad. It's just a defense mechanism that was supposed to aid us in some evolutionary terms, but we don't need it anymore. But whatever. This is just saying, look at work and home and try to identify, notice where you're split. Okay, I can notice where I'm split. I'll give you an example because maybe this will help you. For example, on one hand, I'm like, get me the fuck out of this country. The other day I was like jumping on the beach hoping that I could make a tsunami for dinner time. That's how angry I was. More at the LA generic area, but for but then on the other hand, you know, there's so much I love about this. There's so many, somebody's like, "Oh, come to the Heart Desert Festival," or da 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 da, or I meet, and then I meet people that are just lovely or whatever. So, feeling that kind of split and trying to bring those together um, into a whole, loving, compassionate space and something that brings me joy. Um, but yeah, I have a pretty good feeling it's not good. I'm ready to go. But just look at areas where your um, your fears and doubts um, are keeping you from moving forward, uh, specifically in home and work. That's the simplest way I can put it. So, okay, next let's go to heart cart. The burden. Um, this card, this is supposed to be you, and you're climbing up a mountain and you're carrying a buffoon on top. So when we're carrying, it means carrying other people's burdens. That's other people's problems. And I see this played out in my life, and I've stopped it now. I'm like, okay, I'm not falling for that again. We do it because we want to help, because we're caregivers, because we're loving, but it's basically like, where's that line of enabling someone and empowering someone? Um, and it's about letting go of those codependent relationships. Those are burdens. Um, and guess what? Most employees have a very codependent relationship with their employers, you know? And that's not liberation. I mean, technically it's modern slavery, but I'm not going to go into that right now. But the burden, look where you're taking on other people's uh, dramas, or their addictions, or their insecurities, their fear, their other people's shit is a burden. So generally, how I like to do this and keep the loving, caregiving side of me, that is, of course, very prevalent, um, is as we studied on the ship when we did Ephemeral, when we did this floating city in the Sacramento Delta. We made the rule this, so the dishes issues wouldn't get out of control. I mean, when you've got like 300 people on drugs, in costumes, all kinds of crazy shit going on, the dishes could have gotten out of hand. But this is how we solved it. We said, clean your own dishes. If you use dishes, clean your own dishes, and then like one more dish, like one, like just for charity, like I'll clean that extra fork of that extra. And that way, if everyone is doing their own dishes, and there's always that one or three that aren't doing dishes for whatever reasons, who fucking cares? Because if everyone is trying their best to clean up their own mess and then take a little of someone else's, then guess what? It all gets done. That's like every time I go Zen walking on the beach, first of all, a plastic bag magically shows up, also known as litter. And then I use that plastic. I'm like, well, thank you for giving me this plastic bag, whoever or however this one escaped. And then I start picking up the trash on the beach. And guess what? People are like, oh, wow, that woman, she's picking up trash, and she's not part of the Coast Guard, and she doesn't appear to be one of the janitors of this beach or whatever. Wow, I can do that too. And people actually do it. It's called the 100th monkey effect. But anyways, that's, again, manifestation. So I'm just saying, clean up your own stuff, and then maybe a little let other people clean up their shit. Because then it's just your burden, and that's their story, that's their lesson, and it's empowering to them. Okay, next we have mind and spirit, and you got the existence card. Okay, the existence moments, those are those moments that I don't know whether you're in meditation. It could be after a meaningful, intimate encounter with someone. It could be it could be while you're reading a book. It could be dancing, whatever works for you. It's those moments where you feel completely connected and you feel love and gratitude, and your body feels so good, and you don't need anything. You know we are connected. You know we're out. That's what all the hippies are talking about, and the mystics and the spiritual masters, and even the religious fundamentalists. The reason they're fundamentalist is because they've experienced this, and they so want you to experience this. They think their way is the only way, and that's the fucked up part. But there's something behind that. That's why they're so passionate about. They're talking about this same. Everybody's talking about this same feeling, the same, and that's what we're all trying to get to. I think in our weird ways, um, and no way is weirder than the other, even though I do think there's some competitions going on. But also everyone's trying, and isn't that everyone's hero's path, their journey path? I mean, this is Joseph Campbell 101. But anyways, do whatever it takes to get to that. And there is no right or wrong way to do it. And for those of us that know rage, you can take your rage to a point where it will get you there. Not the easiest way, and I don't recommend it, but much healthier than suppressing rage, because then that turns out in physical ailments and also violence around us, emotional, physical, and verbal, especially verbal. I don't even know if science, I hope someone's working on this. But when we yell at people, if you've studied or if you've read the Dr. Emoto water crystal studies, Dr. Emoto, who's a fucking saint in my book and passed away about a year ago, the lucky bastard, he doesn't have to deal with this shit anymore. Anyways, he proved that what we say to water crystals changes the molecular structure. And being that humans are mostly water, everything's mostly water, and waves, sound. When we're yelling at people, when we're shouting, it is changing the molecular structure and is actually even more damaging than physical. And if you add yelling with physical, serious stuff. So anyways, all of that can be easily healed if you go to your happy place. So anyways, next let's go to, wow, this is a crazy reading. That's just because a lot of information, there's so much information coming through right now. So you might have to watch this video more than once. Next is awareness card. And I know when this card shows up, and it's a big deal card. Lots of big deal cards in here, actually. It means that another veil is lifting, and that goes across the board. That means a lot of people, it's like everyone's on their evolution, everyone's going up a level. And as I've learned recently, the last time this happened, which for me was probably at Burning Man, it was rough because I was actually, when that veil was lifted, I was seeing shadow and everything because I had not been seeing the full spectrum of what's going on with myself and with people. And wow. So you never know all of it is good, but just know we're entering another level of awareness. Yeah. That's why you should be playing. That's the best way. That's the best way. The fun way. Well, you can go any way you want. The Buddhists like to suffer. I'd rather be dancing. So anyways, wow, this was a loud and definitely energy-packed, information-packed video with a lot of information in there. So I can't wait to hear your feedback, and thank you again for your patience. Okay, love you.